Welcome to Apartment Syndication Made Easy podcast, where we simplify the world of syndication. Join us as we unravel the complexities and provide you with valuable insights to help you invest smartly. Get ready to take your investments to the next level, one episode at a time. Here's your host, Mr. Vinney Chopra.
Hi there, guys. This is Vinney Chopra back again. I hope you're ready. It is my backyard, just beautiful day today. And, I've got a great friend, Dave Foster, in the house. We're going to talk about 1031 exchanges, how to kick the can down the road so that you don't have to pay the capital gains tax. I know everybody wants to save money on tax, to hold on to your horses. We're going to get into so much good stuff today. Remember to give 5-star reviews. I hope you're following up my abundance mindset today, this morning. Thursday. I know when this episode will come out, I don't know. But, every Thursday morning, 9 a.m., Abundance Mindset with Vinney Chopra, 16 channels live. Then tomorrow, which is Friday, I do 9 a.m. with Vinney and Bo show, 16 channels live also. And then my books and everything. So thanks for following me and, partnering with me with my two $100 million funds now. With my partners, we got hospitality fund building, and it's 506c. I can talk about it. So anybody wants to invest in those babies, just let me know. I raised 50 million in last 1 month alone, 50 million, 50. And I've got $100 million one fund, $100 million another fund. So Dave, that's a little bit, my team tells me to do a little promotion, brother. So I'm going to actually go ahead and introduce you formally. Dave Foster is an expert. His superpower is 1031. He's a degreed accountant and a serial real estate investor. Dave is qualified intermediary also and consultant who shares his tax-saving strategies with investors like you. All of you guys, you got to go to Dave right there. And, tax are limiting our audience, the whole thing. Our real estate success lies on when we are able to, not pay capital gains and all that rightfully. So that's what we're going to talk about. And he's in St. Pete's. He just told me. So Dave, take it away, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing awesome. I would show you my backyard, but I think the noise of the surf would be a little too loud. So we're going to have to go with the backdrop of my studio. It is what a beautiful yard that is with everything in blue.
Thank you.
That's awesome. It's beautiful.
All good. It is. I tell everybody, syndication has been my world. And by the power of other people's money, legally collecting them and delivering good results brings the lifestyle of luxury and everything, Yeah.
It's funny that you mention it, that you phrase it that way, because I think where we're going to spend most of our time talking today is about the process of doing exactly that. Only in this case, where I live, the other people's money is the silent partner we all have called Uncle Sam. And we're going to be using his money to build our portfolios.
I love it. I love it, the way you framed it. But tell us, how you got started in this field and where did you grow up? Those kind of things. Yeah.
Great story. So I am originally a farm boy from Kansas. Now, my wife is a Minneapolis winter girl. We met in Denver, Colorado. Now, you know what all three of those have in common? There's not an ocean front anywhere. But we decided in our marriage that we wanted to buy a sailboat and sail the world. So a farm boy from Kansas, a Minnesota girl in Colorado, decide to go buy a sailboat and sail the world. How was the problem, right?
Yes.
We all have dreams, but the execution to get you there is the devil in the details. And we decided, just like so many of your listeners, just like you did at some point in time, that real estate is the greatest equal opportunity for anybody. There's only two classes of people throughout the history of the world that have always ruled the world. And that is the banks and the landlords. Those who own the land and those who have the money. Well, I'm too lazy to start a bank. So I decided to become a real estate investor. And so, like so many other people as well, I'm a firm believer in the principle of ready, fire, aim. If I wait until I aim, I've wasted too much time.
Yes.
So I bought a duplex, I fixed it up, I sold it. Life was great, Vinney, until I went to my accountant.
Oh.
And he said, "Oh, guess how much tax you're going to have to pay?" Now, wait a minute. That was not part of the bargain.
Yes. Yes.
And that was when I realized that silent Uncle Sam is my silent partner. And so that took a 10-year goal of ours, and it was going to turn it into a 20-year goal.
Yes. Yes.
But right at that moment in time, in 1996, there was a court case that was settled. That was a 20-year court case that was now going to allow normal investors like you and me to do a process called the 1031 exchange,
Right.
which had been part of the statute since 1920, but nobody knew how to do it right.
Yeah.
And now it was going to be codified. And that was going to let us sell investment real estate. And instead of paying tax on the profits, use that tax to go buy more real estate. So a form of compounding interest, right? We get to, instead of paying the tax, we get to make the money on the tax. And then we get to make money on the money we made on the tax.
I love it. I love it.
It just snowballs, right? That brought us back to our 10-year goal. And we took our portfolio of real estate from Denver, Colorado, to Stamford, Connecticut, to Cape Coral, Florida, where we were just discussing.
Yes.
And in 10 years to the date of setting the goal, we set sail on a 53-foot sailboat paid for with tax-free dollars, using the proceeds, the income from our fleet of tax-free vacation rentals to pay the bill. And we raised our 4 children on the sailboat.
I love
and
it.
had a ball.
Love
And
it.
that's when I said, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. And I want to help people do it. So as we were going along our route, we also started a business to help others take advantage of the same thing.
Yep. Excellent. Excellent. 53-foot foot boat. I come to St. Pete's. Maybe if you like to, I'd love to ride on it. I don't own one. We are planning to own a plane, looks like, my partner and I, and a Rolls Royce, but sailboat is not yet on the horizon, but plane is. It's going to be wonderful. I think this life has brought so much joy into our world because so many people are blessed, with all these things happening. So let me tell you, just for simple terms, a lot of people probably know already, there is that 45 days rule and all. Could you take us into certain rules? Yeah.
Yeah, the IRS is, you could call it a gift from the government. They give it pretty grudgingly, but it's a gift. But it comes with a fairly steep price, which is that it's a rigid process.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow it exactly, believe me, the IRS wants to collect the tax.
Yeah.
They would rather do that. So it's a process that starts with the sale of a piece of investment real estate.
Mm-hmm.
From the date of that sale, you've only got 45 days to identify your potential replacements and a total of 180 days to close your purchase.
Yeah.
That's it. But as long as you follow those timelines, and as long as you end up purchasing at least as much real estate as you sold, then you will indefinitely defer paying the tax on the profit.
So for example, let's say if I sold a $10 million property and I got a gain of 4 million, just for the heck of it. So to save taxes on 4 million, I need to buy a like kind of business or property, which will be over 10 million purchase price. Is that right? $1 more.
Yes. Well, if you want to defer all tax. Now, here's the beautiful thing. When you use the words like kind, that's really defined very broadly by the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Any type of investment real estate. So like you and I know, real estate goes in cycles.
Yep.
And you've got an assisted living complex you're closing on right now. A few years ago, those weren't a great bargain. Now's the time to buy them. But now multifamily is at all-time peaks.
Yes.
So maybe it's the time to sell a multifamily
Yes.
and use the proceeds to go buy an assisted living. As long as it's real estate,
Yes.
you can replace that with any type of real estate anywhere else in the country, which you and I are kind of at opposite ends of the spectrum here. You're in California, which is at an incredible run. But cash flow is really tough to find.
Very tough.
I'm in the Tampa Bay area, which somebody just lit a hand grenade under, and appreciation is going crazy. So there are a ton. As a matter of fact, what's funny is I was sitting at the base of a drawbridge 2 days ago, and the car directly in front of me was a 2023 Bentley convertible.
Look at that.
Gorgeous. You know where its license plates were from? Montana.
Oh, Montana.
I know you were thinking California.
I was. Yeah.
That is a Californian from the Bay Area who took their property and went to Montana and bought when it was good and are now buying here. And it wouldn't surprise me that they're using a 1031 exchange to do it.
Sure.
That's how powerful it is. Now, the other thing is, it doesn't have to be one property.
Yes.
So you could take that $10 million and you could go buy 10 $1 million properties.
Totally. Yep. Mm-hmm.
As long as you purchase at least as much as you sell. So it's an incredibly flexible tool that, as long as you follow the rigid process, here's an example that's going to really resonate, I think, with most of us in the rank and file. Let's say that you had a $100,000 gain. That was all. Okay. Now in tax, that's going to be $20,000.
Yep.
But let's take two investors. One of them is simply going to pay the tax. And that's okay. They don't owe the tax anymore. Mm-hmm. But now they only have $80,000 left to reinvest. So that will buy them with a 20% down of $400,000 property.
Yep.
Whereas the other person's going to do the 1031. That means they have all $100,000 to put down so they can buy a $500,000 property. Now, appreciation is not an additive, it's a multiplier. It's a multiplier once you purchase. So the investor doing the 1031 over the next 5 years is going to make much more money than the other investor. So even if they do buy the same type of property as much as they can, and it appreciates the same, the investor doing the 1031 exchanges is always going to make more money. Yes. And we've actually extrapolated that exact sample out over 20 years with only 4 transactions.
I see. Yes.
Just 4. 5 years, 10 years, and the first one, and then 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years. And they're selling exactly at the exact same rate of everything. Mm-hmm. At the end of 20 years, simply by doing the 1031 exchange. Investor A owns, the investor doing the 1031s, owns $12.5 million of real estate. Wow. The investor that paid the tax as they go, doesn't owe any tax, has about $3.5 million.
What?
That's the power of deferred tax.
Oh my gosh, you hit the nail. I think everybody listening to us, stop not on the freeway, don't stop your car, but take account. If you're not doing 1031, you're killing it. You're killing. I mean, you're just paying taxes, but look at brother, Dave said, you get 4 times more. I mean, extrapolate to 20 years. That's amazing. Now, what's the deal that before the closing of the sale, you have to give 45 days before or even after? So then there is a 90-day spectrum, isn't it?
Well, there's actually no 45 before because you can go into contract for your new property anytime you want. Okay. Many times on our larger deals, there could be a year of due diligence in order to make it work.
Yes.
You can be under contract at any time. But regardless of that, you only have 45 more days after the close.
Got it. Okay. So 45 days more, to even put some other property in the shuffle if you wanted to. But you can keep on working on the one you want to bring 1031 money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I could invest in my equity, even bring more money, 1031, but it has to be consummated with 180 days, which is like 6 months. You have to deploy all the money after we pay the bank, right? If we
Correct.
sold price is 10 million, if I'm paying 6 million balance of the loan and other stuff, my gain is 4 million, capturing depreciation and everything. So that 4 million can go into, has to be spent. Wait a minute. So
Yeah, you would have to spend that 4 million to buy at least 10 million of real estate.
you got it.
It's both parts of the rule.
Yeah, it's the both. And you have to put all that money, unless you decide to pay taxes on 2 million and then carry forward 2 million. That can be done too, right?
You know, everybody's got to have a good time.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody needs a vacation, or they got to put braces on their kids' teeth. I don't know. But it's perfectly fine to purchase the less than you sold. It's perfectly fine to take some cash out. But when you do that, you'll pay tax or whatever that is. So in your example, you pay tax on 2 million. You shelter the tax on the other. But can I give you a better hack? I feel like a Romco salesman. But wait, there's more. If you complete your full 1031 exchange, there's nothing to stop you from immediately refinancing that property and take the cash out that way so that it is non-taxable.
I love that.
So you get the full benefit of the 1031, plus you get the money you wanted to go have fun with. And who's paying that mortgage? The tenants.
Yeah, I know, for sure. I love that. I love it. So this is fabulous that you could do 1031. There's no limitation. If the property value has increased than what you bought, right? Then you could do refinance and take the money out from there. Now you took your 1031 gain money and the principal also, of course. No, the gain, right? Only the
Well,
gain.
it ends up being both.
You're both actually. Yeah.
It ends up being both. You're correct. Yeah.
The equity and the gain is going into the next deal. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because what happens is if you take your equity out, the IRS says you're actually not taking your equity out.
Yeah.
They say, no, you're taking profit out. And you must say, well, but wait a minute. I put $1 million down. That's not taxable. There it says, yeah, that's right. That's not taxable. But when you take $1 million out of your 1031, you're not taking that million. You're taking $1 million of profit. It's a sneaky peek deal, but the IRS has nuclear weapons, so they get to make the rules.
For sure. So let's talk about DSTs. I know a lot of time people say, you know what, don't do 1031, do DST, Delaware Statutory Trust, DSTs, I think. And then some other option is to kick the, what is it called? Like kick down the road 31 years and you pay partial. You don't sell everything in one place, from what I understand, one time, but you get some other lender in there and you sell it incrementally. Gotta take it there.
Okay, so yeah, before we end today, we have to spend the last 5 minutes talking about the 4 Ds of 1031 investing, okay? And it's, if we did it now, people would leave. They'd beat their heads would be so full.
Yeah.
But let's first talk about DSTs in the perspective of the life cycle of a real estate investor.
Yes.
When we're young, we're energetic. We don't mind swinging a hammer. We don't mind working hard. We want to manage our own properties to maximize our dollars. But as we get older, wealthier, more experienced, we realize that the time we spend wielding a hammer is not the best use of our time. And many times we'll wake up the next day wishing we hadn't done that. So as we get older, there's a natural desire to move from more active management to more passive management. And so the progression of someone's life cycle might be, well, the prototype then it would be the couple who each have their own career and they get married.
Yep.
Well, they each had a house. So they're going to move into one.
Yep.
By the way, do you know which one they move into?
Ladies, maybe? I don't
Always, because it's the only one that's clean.
know.
So they move into her house.
Yeah.
His becomes a rental.
Yeah.
And they just became accidental landlords.
Yeah.
Now, money is an addiction, let's face it. A couple years of that income coming in, and they've had a taste of the Kool-Aid. So when it's time to sell that property, they're going to go buy. But maybe they'll, instead of buying one, they'll go buy two.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll buy four. Then they'll move into multifamily.
Yeah.
And they'll start to grow things that way. And then one day they wake up and they're tired.
Yeah.
So they start to sell these properties and combine them into larger self-managed deals or larger deals where someone else is managing it.
Yeah.
And the three main types of these are Delaware Statutory Trust, DSTs, tenants in common, and you and I have to talk about your backyard, which is syndications.
Yes.
So syndications, there's a couple twists that have to happen, but they are one of the ways that you can make this work as well. Delaware Statutory Trusts are the only quasi-real estate product that has been blessed by the IRS officially as real estate replacement for a 1031 exchange. And what it really is just a fractional ownership.
Yes.
Very much like a syndication, except instead of investing in a syndication, which is a limited partnership, you're investing in a vehicle that is called a Delaware Statutory Trust. And the only thing that's magical about that is that it's a type of trust that was formed in Delaware. And as long as it meets the requirements for that, it qualifies for 1031 treatment. Fractional ownership of something large like an apartment building, an Amazon distribution center, a shopping mall, a self-storage center, doesn't matter what it is, it can always be set up in any way. But the key operating factor is that you're going to buy a small percentage of this larger asset by buying part of the Delaware Statutory Trust. Now, the key to the DSTs, Vinney, is that they act exactly like real estate.
Yep.
So you get monthly cash flow based on the amount of cash that goes in.
Yes.
You give your share of depreciation as a tax write-off, of appreciation, profit building, of the amortization of the loan, which is being paid off. It's exactly like real estate, but this one big thing, you have no management responsibilities at all. So it's the perfect opportunity to go passive late in a career.
Yes.
Now, tenants in common is simply where you and several of your friends, acquaintances, or whoever go together and buy a piece of property where everybody owns a piece of it.
Yes. Exactly.
5 friends get together and buy a $10 million property. Each one kicks in $2 million. They each own 20% of the property. Now, maybe you draw straws, or the youngest one has to manage it. I don't know. But again, as tenants in common, you can start to whittle away at your management capabilities, responsibilities. So DSTs, tenants in common, great way late in a career to start to reduce management. Shall we talk about syndication?
Yes, 4Ds, brother. And
Because
how can people reach you? I really respect your time and how much great nuggets you've given. And Dave, appreciate you, brother. I'll be also, my team will put it in the Dropbox. We'll give you the whole footage, also raw footage, and you can use it for any purpose you like. And,
sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. So the 4Ds of 1031 investing. First one is defer. Now, I'm going to give you a test on this.
Yes.
Okay, first one's defer. Because when you've got a property with gain and you do a 1031 exchange, you will get to indefinitely use that tax for your benefit. Yes. Indefinitely. The second D is defer.
Oh, defer again.
Because anytime you sell that property, either to move to a different geography,
Yep.
to move into a different type of property, to move into a different number of properties. As long as you do the 1031 exchange, you'll continue to defer the tax.
Love it.
What do you think the third D is, Vinney?
Defer, brother.
Yes, because as you go through life, you can simplify things
Yes.
by using DSTs and tenants in common
Yes.
to lessen your management. You can begin to position your assets
Yes.
ahead of retirement. You can also, and this one's powerful, you can convert an investment property into your primary residence.
Wait.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
And start to whittle away so that the gain starts to become tax-free. And I'll tease you with this.
Okay.
Have me back and we'll flesh that out. But the key is that you can convert and eliminate gain that way. What do you think the fourth D is?
Oh, defer has to be, brother.
Sorry.
Oh no, I slugged the test.
It's die.
It's what?
Die.
Die. Okay, defer and die, then nobody owes any money.
Yeah, it's not my favorite one either, but we're all going there. But when you die with real estate assets,
Yes.
those assets get revalued on the day you die. So your heirs get them tax-free. It is possible
Right. It's
to
step
up in basis. That's exactly. It's possible to defer the tax your entire life, making the money on it yourself,
Oh my
and then end up either converting it into tax-free money or giving it to your heirs tax-free. 1031 is as powerful as it can get.
I love it, brother. Dave, you have added so much gold nuggets. And everybody listening to us, guys, this episode will change your life. I promise you. Share this episode with all your loved ones who should not be paying tax legally. And that's the deferment, and then dying at the end. I love that. Everybody is to die. So let's just take that tax with us into the coffin. Anyway.
Remember that old saying, it was the person who dies with the most toys wins? I got my twist on that is the person that gets to let their heirs keep the most toys wins.
Oh, look at that. I love it. Brother Dave, you are wonderful and look forward to, taking a ride in your 53-feet yacht right there in St. Pete's. I can't wait. I'm also building Palm Bay right now. I'm opening up, Williamsburg very soon. And I'm buying hotels and building hotels. So I'll be building in Florida, lots of hotels. Celebration is the first one. I'm building over there, Homewood Suites, then in New Orleans. And then over here in Bend, Oregon, a big project, $126 million project. I'm starting with my partners. Of course, I'm not alone, my partners. And again, everybody listening to us, 506C fund, $100 million one fund, $100 million another fund. If you like to get great returns, just reach out to me. Dave, how can people reach you, bro?
We've made it easy for everybody. All you've got to do is go to the1031investor.com.
I love it. The1031investor.com. Everybody, please go sign up. And, Dave has got strategic solutions for you. He's intermediary also. I mean, just a wonderful person. Dave, thank you for your time to be hanging around with me, brother.
My pleasure.
You take care.